Yeah, Bruce, just wondered if you could talk a little bit about UNLV and what, now that you maybe had a little time to look at them, what challenges they present and what maybe you can gain from a game like this.
Well, they definitely can score the basketball. There's no doubt about that. They've had troubles, a little bit of trouble stopping people. If you can't, if you get Grill, they got two explosive scorers in Bryce and Caleb Grill, and we're gonna have to do a good job on them to limit what their production, and you got to find Grill. They kind of play small ball, and he's kind of their four, so they put you in little that binds with that with some, because he's a guard, but he's playing that four, so you got a little bit of mix ups with who's guarding who. And then obviously Bryce can really create and make plays and, do a good job of helping and making him kick. And that's easier said than done. Hopefully, have a little bit of advantage inside. Again, we're developing our depth, but I hope that can be a factor also in the game.
And you saw Grill last year with Iowa State, plus I believe you were recruiting him at one point. Is he a different player now than last year, just the way they're using him, or? Well,
like I said, they had him playing playing the four. They're small, and so you get a little bit of, and he took advantage of it against Alabama. Alabama lost him several times. He really got hot, obviously from three. He's a really good 3-point shooter. So it allows him to roam a little bit more, get some freedom. We're going to have to do a good job of switching and staying in matchups that we can contest shots and not let him get going. He's a better athlete than I think people understand. I think four sports star and coming up, and he's got a little bit of bounce to him, and a year older. Freshman last year had a couple nice moments, but now you've been through college basketball, and it looks like he's taking a nice step.
Thanks.
Next question to Jackson Snyder.
Yeah, Coach, I just wanted maybe your thoughts on now that you've had a chance to kind of sit on Monday night and what you've learned after looking back at that, and then what you've been able to kind of talk about with your team coming off of that first win.
Well, I think the big thing is now can we do the little things, the execution things, and not have the mistakes and breakdowns where you can, we had to lead to 17 in the first half, back to 15 in the second half. And now, 2-3 possessions of really playing good, solid basketball you break team spirit, but we never broke their spirit. Obviously turnovers is a big factor. We got to take care of the basketball. If we can cut off, 5-7 turnovers and then cut off, another 5 or 7 tough shots early in the shot clock, and then finish some of those fast break opportunities or make better decisions on the fast break opportunities. Those are things that could, you get another 15 shots in the game because of those. And we've shot the ball pretty well so far. You were 6 for 13 that game from 3. Our field goal percentages are not, probably not the biggest negative we have. It's probably just more the turnovers, decision making, those type of things. So I think that's the next step. We hadn't had this. We didn't have the time to practice because we didn't have the to put ourselves in different situations with 10 guys. But yesterday we gave each team a 7-point lead with 8 minutes left in the game, and they had to extend that lead to win the game, over the next 4 minutes. We got to, obviously, as we move forward, end of game situations, things like that, shot clock situations. Those are things that, we didn't get to practice, but hopefully we'll be able to practice over this next, week or 10 days before we get into a conference.
And then just like looking forward, having fans now on Saturday, even though it's only 15%, does that maybe provide even more of a little bit of an advantage? Like, you've already been able to have a few home games, be comfortable. UNLV's been on the road, but now you add even a little bit of fans. Does that give you even more of an advantage to get some fans in there?
Well, there's no doubt we it always helps. I think the second halves of games, that's where the fans become a factor. And when you play with no fans, there's, you can say you're playing at home, but I'm not sure it really has that much of a factor. I think you see it. To me, I watch it in the NFL. That home court, that home field advantage, the pass rush guys that get the energy and those type of things. So the fans are going to help. Obviously, I still at the same time, I can't overemphasize to our fans, please stay social distance. Please stay with, keep the masks on. We want to do the right thing. We don't want to create a spread. And we want them there, but we want them to stay safe. And we don't want to be honest, we don't want the county to shut us down. So hopefully everyone can, listen and do what they're asked to do. And we keep the fans in the stands, and it'll help them for a little, relief, mental health, just being there, seeing a game, enjoying themselves, letting out some of their energy, and then it'll help our team get a little bit of energy as we move forward.
And when we talked to Casey just a little bit ago, he kind of talked about how he feels like going into the first game, he didn't feel like the team was fully gelled, but he certainly feels like there's been some progress in that after the last couple of games, and finally kind of finding out roles a little bit more and kind of figuring out what it takes to win as a team. Have you seen that development?
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt. And that just comes through time and experience and playing. And, that's why the more games we can get, the better it is. Obviously, I want to win games, but I also want them to get experience. And that's I wish we would have had a couple easy ones to get, Selton Miguel, more minutes, and Rudy Williams more minutes. And now you got Carlton coming back and actually got in practice for the full, for most of the practice yesterday. But we don't have that advantage. So every minute, every game, every practice, I hope we can take advantage of, and it's going to help us develop as a team.
And you mentioned Carlton there. Did it look like he might be able to play on Saturday?
I don't know about that, but he got involved in practice. I mean, this is a young man that didn't really do any basketball for 3 months. And now the last 2 weeks, started with individual workouts, got a little bit into non-contact, and then yesterday was the first day of any contact. So it was good for him. Give him a little, a little bit of excitement, feel part of it. And it's good for our team too, just to have another body there. And we were able to go 4-on-4 yesterday, which we haven't been able to do since August. So it's, those kind of drills, the drills that you do all the time to help your team gain toughness and gain competitive spirit and camaraderie, all those things we haven't been able to do. So now with him back, and some of the other guys, it definitely helps.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Next question to Arnie Green.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you a little bit about Casey. I know he hit free throws, and especially in that last game. And how big is that when you've got a post player you can maybe go inside to, and you can trust him to hit free throws down the stretch?
Well, it's really important. It's something it's been one of my first focuses from the start of the year. One, to get the ball inside. And I think Davion, as he gains confidence, as he gains strength, mobility, and, balance, those type of things that big guys have to develop, I think we're going to be able to go inside to him. Hopefully to Carlton, they give us some length. Well, when you go inside, you're going to get to the free throw line, and you got to, which is a good thing. we got to the free throw line 27 times. Obviously, UMKC was very aggressive, and that was part of their game plan to be very physical with us. So we got to the line, and it was great that he was able to step up. I know he's been frustrated. It's something I've sat with him and worked on. And I think he had to go. A lot of times you got to go out and do it, experience it. Probably failed to figure out what you need to do. And he hadn't played college basketball in a year, and even the year before, who knows? He didn't probably get to the line very much. So it's all new to him. And I said the other day, one of the things, he's really like a freshman. He's going to be a sophomore next year. So, to have that experience, and he made big, crucial free throws. It's a 7-9 point game. I think he makes 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 6 in that stretch. And if he doesn't make them, who knows what happens with that game.
And have you seen maybe some of the rust come off now with him? Like you said, he hadn't played. Do you feel like he looks more comfortable just 3 games in?
Yeah, I'm sure he does. And just feels, understanding know what's going on. He's done a really good job defensively, getting in the ball screens. It was one of the things we're worried about. They got us on a little slip later in the second half out of a timeout, but for the most part, him and Davion have been very aggressive. It's going to be a key Saturday, just because they slip ball screens and they set some ball screens. So being active and being at that line and being ready to hedge. It was one thing I always said McCall Maween was one of the best ball screen defenders in the country. And, that's something, as a coach, I don't take for granted. That and transition defense, safeties, things that fans don't really, they get mad, how'd they get a layup? But, those are things that we have to gain. When Casey talked about figuring out roles, making sure we have a safety, making sure that, we're not giving that easy layup, making sure we're doing those, getting into the ball screen coverage. Because, it's for a lot of it, it's probably 80% of defense now in college basketball. How you can deal with transition and how you can deal with ball screen defense.
Thanks.
Next question to Grant Flanders.
Hey, Coach, I just have a few. First, I just want to ask about Monty and Antonio and talk about how they've progressed. I know Monty obviously started a bunch of games last year and this year has lost his spot to Antonio.
Well, I like that they've both really taken a step up, and both of them missed a lot of the summer, with different situations. And I didn't know it was, as I said to you guys a while ago, it was the one position I thought, we feel pretty good about it. We got 2 guys that played a lot as freshmen, had some nice moments, had experience. And then going into practice, since they hadn't practiced, it was tough. And I think it's taken them a little time. I love Antonio's energy. I know he didn't score the most points, didn't have the most assists, most rebounds, but he led us on to play hard, and he led us on to plus minus. And that role, when you figure out a role, that's really, really valuable to have somebody step up and do that. I think Monty's done better. The one thing we felt last year with Monty, he was so dependable, and he didn't always do the special things, but he did the little things, and that's why he played and helped us. And his plus minus was always pretty good, pretty positive. I think maybe just not having the practice time, not having the reps, he was a little behind. Maybe a little motivation now because Tony's, picked it up. But I'd love for them both to play. If we get 22 minutes from one and 18 from the other, and you add up their points and their double digits and there's 6-8 rebounds between them and play hard, and though it would be beautiful for our team. And again, that's I thought we played Antonio a few too many minutes against Colorado. I think he had a good mix with 25 and get Monty somewhere 18, 20, playing a little small ball maybe. I think if we can do that and they can give us great energy and find a way to, get a couple hoops here and there, it would solidify that role at that power forward for us.
One more thing on that. Are you impressed with how Antonio has played this year? Going into it, I would be, remiss if I said that I expected him to start. So how has he really looked to you? And has he really earned this spot?
Well, again, he missed a lot, and he missed basically the whole summer and part of the fall, and just started getting everything together and getting healthy and giving himself a chance. And the thing I really like, both of them have been in watching film. Both of them have started to come in and shoot a little extra. Monty was in here now, like an hour before practice on Sunday, and those are the little things that they're starting to figure it out. I think Tone will tell you, he told all the new guys, one of our early Zooms, he said, guys, freshman year, I didn't understand what it was about and how hard it was and how focused you have to be. And, for him to say that, it was impressive and showed some maturity. And now he's starting to, show that on a consistent basis. And I slowly but surely we get Monty to join that. And, like I said, it would be really nice to have them both give us consistent play every game, and we can have some versatility with both of them.
And maybe it's just as simple as you need, games where you can get a bigger lead. But what does Davion right now need to do better to get on the floor for, more than 10 minutes?
I think right now it's just I mentioned confidence. I mentioned balance, strength. He's a lot stronger. He's lost weight, a lot of those things. Defense is always a factor as a freshman, especially with him, ball screen defense, getting out there. It's hard. We watched one clip with him the other day. He had to run out and guard a ball screen 3 times on one possession. And that's hard for big guys, and especially guys that have never done it. He'd rather just sit back in the lane, but you can't do that. People are going to take advantage of it. So, I think those are the things that'll come with time, and then just learning all the plays and that. But he great, unbelievable young man, big heart, good personality, great teammate, and can't be. I'm so impressed by him, where he's at, and life has not been easy for him, and so we think he really has a bright future.
And the last thing I have for you is Nigel Pack has seemed, so good on the offensive end. And as a freshman, he just seems really, really inept at, moving without the ball. So how has that come along, his ability to move without the ball? And is that something you kind of hope that is infectious for the rest of the team, to keep the team moving on offense?
Yeah, there's no doubt. It's funny because he said, Coach Lowry the other day, I never thought I'd be good off the ball because, like a lot of young players, even with EYBL with a really good team with guys that are gone to, he had at least 4 or 5 guys that went to high-level teams. He had the ball all the time. And now, we want him with the ball at times. And I think he's got to get better in ball screens and in physical parts of the game. But he's really been exceptional off the ball. And we kind of saw it. I saw it. I think he had great footwork, fundamentals, coming off screens, being able to make the play. Again, this is all new, and he came in and watched the whole game with the other day with the coaches, and again that shows a lot of maturity for a freshman, and it's probably the best thing about him is what he's about as a person and his maturity and understanding of the game.
Thank you very much, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions for Coach before we let him go? One for Ryan Block.
Hey, Bruce, I was just wondering, with this being the second year for Coach Otzelberger there, I know when you faced them last year, I'm sure a lot of things they were just kind of getting in their concepts and really learning things. And even though maybe the results don't show it yet, do you see a team that's really mastered a lot more of what he's trying to implement there now in year two?
I think he did a great job last year. Unbelievable. If you look back, we beat them in overtime early. They had some heartbreaking losses early. He coached the heck out of them, to be honest. And then, they finally found a way to win late in the year. And I could be wrong. I thought they finished in the top few of the tied with some other teams in the Mountain West for like second or third. But I could be wrong on that. But he's obviously a Wisconsin native, so you always are pulling for. I grew up there, and we always feel proud of guys that came up through our coaching world there. He's worked his way up. Obviously, did a great job at South Dakota State and getting them in the tournament. And he's got a good staff. Coach Kruger's son, Tim Buckley, longtime guy that we've all known, been with some really good people. And he coached the heck out of them. And, I think it's like we've all dealt with right now, trying to, it was hard to recruit in the spring. It was hard to coach in the summer and then the fall, and you're just doing your best you can. And he coaches them, and they execute what he wants. And I think as he gets more and more of his guys in the system, there's no doubt in my mind he's going to be a successful coach.
Next question for Willie Ramirez from the AP.
Coach, if we could piggyback off that just for a moment, in terms of playing a team like UNLV, like you said, that has talent, they're still trying to find that chemistry. Can it be just as dangerous to play a team that hasn't won yet, that's scrappy like that, young coach, but still pulling it together? Just as dangerous in facing a Power 5 team that you know everything about when you're facing a winless team that you really don't know anything about because they've yet to sort of show their prowess on either end of the court?
Yeah, and with us, we're a young team too. I saw one of the graphics the other day that we went like fourth most underclassmen of Power 5 teams, or third or something in the country. So we're a young team too. So and we're fighting for our lives. So I hope our guys. You can't look at records right now. You see around the country. Start with them, Montana State. Going into their place, winning. See Navy, Eddie DeChellis, a great win at Georgetown. Richmond at Kentucky. I mean, it's just it's happening all. We talked last week about San Francisco losing to UMass Lowell and then beating Virginia. I mean, it's COVID basketball. It's 2020. Nothing's predictable. And we just got to focus on ourselves, coming ready to play. I think just like I said, we need experience. They needed experience. They got 3 games in. Now they get a couple. They get here today. They get a couple days of rest and preparation, and I'm sure he'll have them playing their butts off against us. And we're gonna have to play well, and hopefully we're up to that task.